And at number 10, Scott Disick and Amelia Hamlin. Following his breakup from Sophia Richie, Scott Disick has a new girlfriend, who is even younger than his last one. The 37-year-old Keeping Up with the Kardashians star revealed a few months ago that he was officially dating 19-year-old Amelia Hamlin, daughter of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Lisa Rinna. A source said about their relationship, quote, "He's been telling friends how much she means to him and how into her that he is." And when asked about the 18-year age gap, apparently the couple doesn't feel the age difference. The source added, quote, "She grew up in the industry and knows how all this works. It's a different type of maturity, and they don't really feel the age difference." And I'm happy for them, but I do think it's odd that he dated two people when they were 19 years old back to back. And at number 9, Woody Allen and Soon-Yi. So this couple does not only have a large age gap, they also have a very controversial start. Woody Allen started seeing Mia Farrow in 1980, and Farrow had 14 children, including adopted daughter Soon-Yi, who would later marry Allen. In 1992, after 12 years of being together, Farrow found nude photos of Soon-Yi, who was 21 at the time, in Allen's house. When confronted by Farrow, Allen, then 57, said that he had slept with Soon-Yi for the first time 2 weeks before. In August of 1992, Allen released a statement that he was in love with Soon-Yi, and then later in 1997 they got married and have been together since. So there's a lot of weirdness with this one, not just the 35-year age gap. And at number 8, Hugh Hefner. The Playboy mogul was known for his relationships with young women that were decades younger than him. He famously dated 3 women at the same time during the show Girls Next Door, when he dated Holly Madison, Kendra Wilkinson, and Bridget Marcourt at the same time. Hefner married a total of 3 times, and a crazy fact was that his first divorce happened 27 years before his 3rd wife was even born. In 2012, Hefner married his last wife, Crystal Harris. She was 26 at the time, which was 60 years younger than the 86-year-old Hefner. And when they were together, Crystal was decades younger than Hefner's children with his first wife, as many of Hef's kids were in their 60s, while Crystal was in her 30s. And at number 7, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. When this couple got together, they were hated by the media because this union broke up the marriage between Brad and Jennifer Aniston. At first, they were hated, but then they seemed so in love, the public started to buy into their love story. That was until their divorce, when things got incredibly nasty between the couple, specifically the pair's custody battle over their children. Their divorce has actually been so drawn out that they needed to find a new judge to look over the case. As of now, Brad has been granted joint custody of the kids, much to Angelina's dismay. So it seems the legal battle will continue until Angelina gets what she wants. And at number 6, David Foster and Katherine McPhee. David Foster first met his wife Katherine McPhee during season 5 of the show American Idol, where he was a mentor. According to Harper's Bazaar, the two did not confirm their relationship until their engagement in 2018, which was not long after his divorce from model Yolanda Hadid. So this is another one with a really big age gap of 34 years, with David being 71 and Katherine being 37. Something that probably adds a layer of awkwardness onto this one though is the fact that Katherine is actually older than a few of David's daughters with his first wife. Foster said about their age difference, quote, "Look, we have haters on social media and there's not a person around that's not going to make some comment about the age difference. But there are so many things that can bring a marriage down, and one of them is age difference, but that's our only problem." Halfway at number 5, Massimo Giannulli and Lori Loughlin. This celebrity couple got intense backlash after it was revealed that they bribed their children's way into University of Southern California. The crime, now called the college admissions scandal, involved the couple paying $500,000 to consultant William Rick Singer to get their daughters Olivia Jade and Isabella Rose into the University of Southern California as fake rowing team recruits. There were even photos released showing the girls using rowing equipment, proving they were involved in the decision to cheat. Both parents were charged in the scandal and got time in prison. Lori Loughlin served 2 months in prison, while her husband Massimo served 5 months along with various fines. The couple's image has not recovered from the scandal, as many cannot believe that they decided to cheat while they are already in such a privileged position. And at number 4, Celine Dion and Renee Angel. The music legend actually got married to someone that she had known since she was only 12. Celine's manager, Renee Angel, has managed her since she started her career at the age of 12. However, years later, when Dion was 18, her feelings started to change and they started dating. The pair ended up getting married when Celine was 26 and he was 52. And even though many people had doubts about their relationship, even Celine's family, they had a long and happy marriage. They wed in 1994, had children together, and stayed together until Angel passed away from cancer at age 73 in 2016.
At number 3, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Prince Charles and Princess Diana were once considered one of the most beloved celebrity couples, and the world loved them. Well, they loved Diana, but soon they became hated because of the rumors surrounding Charles's extramarital affairs. Behind closed doors, Diana was sad and neglected by her husband, but no one knew that until later on. She was always second best in Charles's eyes, having never gotten over his infatuation for Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman that he was told he could never have. Diana regretted marrying Charles because she always knew that there would be three in the marriage: her, Charles, and Camilla. So when they got divorced, she was finally free, and the people turned on Charles for being so cruel to Diana. So I guess the people didn't necessarily hate the relationship as a whole, just Charles.
And at number 2, Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid got married to PhD student Laura Savoy in October of 2019. The couple has a 39-year age gap. When talking about their age gap, Quaid said that he is not fazed, saying about the relationship, quote, "I didn't go out looking for an age gap or someone really younger than me. I met her at a business event and then the relationship developed." However, it does seem to be a trend with Quaid because his last partner was 32 years younger than him. And finally at number 1, Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie and his girlfriend set the internet ablaze when people started to realize how large of an age gap that they had. Lionel Richie and girlfriend Lisa Prigge have a 40-year age gap between them, with him being 71 while his girlfriend is 31. Online, the reaction was a mix of support and hate towards the couple. One user wrote, quote, "Lionel Richie with his new bae, he's 71 and she's 30, love wins." However, some other people pointed out that he is old enough to be her grandfather, and pointing out how when he was 40, she was just born. The pair have been dating since 2014, and honestly I was shocked to hear that Lionel Richie is 71. He looks phenomenal. I thought he was in his 50s from seeing him on American Idol. And at number 10, Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra. If I'm gonna be honest with you, when this couple was first announced, I was pretty sure this was some sort of publicity stunt. I don't think I was the only one, but a lot of people thought so. I just thought it was a very strange coupling, you know what I mean? However, the two are still going strong and are now married. The pair first announced their relationship when Nick was 26 and Priyanka was 36. In an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, Chopra said that she and Jonas were both wearing Ralph Lauren to the Met Gala, so they ended up going together and obviously spending a lot of time together. After only 2 months of dating, the pair announced their engagement in July of 2018. The pair then had wedding ceremonies in the United States and India, where Chopra is from. Regarding their age gap, a source close to the couple said, quote, "The age difference is not a big deal to them whatsoever," adding that Nick, quote, "loves dating older women, and if anything it makes Priyanka even more attractive to him. This is because Nick is apparently an old soul."
And I got down on one knee and said, "Where have you been all my life?"
He actually did.
And at number 9, Jay-Z and Beyonce. This power couple has been together for what feels like forever. I almost forgot that they had a considerable age gap. The couple got together in 2001 when Jay was 32 and Beyonce was only 20. They got married years later in 2008 and gave birth to their first child, Blue Ivy, in 2012. The pair has dealt with marital issues related to Jay-Z's cheating and even spoke about his infidelity on his recent album 444. The couple was able to work out their issues and they welcomed twins Rumi and Sir in 2017. And at number 8, Viola Davis and Julius Tenen. Viola Davis and Julius Tenen got married in 2003 and they've remained a strong couple ever since. The pair has a 12-year age gap between them. Viola is 55 years old while Julius is 67. The couple also adopted a child together in 2011. When speaking about how the pair met, Viola said that she was going through a time of intense loneliness, which led her to start praying for a man in her life. Less than 3 weeks later, her prayers were answered, and she met Julius on set while filming an episode of City of Angels. And at number 7, Jesse James and Sandra Bullock. This marriage went down in flames due to infidelity caused by Jesse's insecurity over their relationship. The couple first started dating in 2003 and got married in 2005. But after only 5 years of marriage, they split in 2010 after it was exposed that Jesse had been cheating with multiple women. After the split, Jesse said the hardest thing was not being able to be with their adopted child Louis. But in 2017, he raised some eyebrows when he said, quote, "In general, both women and men cheat. It's part of life," basically making light of the cheating. However, after those comments got a lot of heat, Jesse changed his tune and made a statement saying, quote, "This has caused my wife and kids pain and embarrassment beyond comprehension, and I'm extremely saddened to have brought this on them. I'm truly sorry for the grief that I have caused them. I hope one day they can find it in their hearts to forgive me." And at number 6, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi. Ellen and Portia first started dating in 2004 and have been inseparable ever since. Only a year later, the couple had moved in together. The pair has a 15-year age gap. Ellen is currently 63 while Portia is 48. When talking about the relationship, Ellen said, quote, "It's the first time that I've known in every cell of my being that I'm with somebody for the rest of my life." The pair got married in 2008, shortly after gay marriage was legalized.
At number 5, Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. This relationship was pretty controversial at the time and sort of still is because people really don't know whose side that they want to take, but either way it was toxic and hated by a lot of people. Back in the late 80s, Mike Tyson was dating model Robin Givens. Shortly after they started dating, Robin announced that she was was pregnant with Mike's child, and so he married her to, quote, do the right thing. Mike had given Robin and her mother $15 million in order to get themselves settled in a nice house, and it seemed like Mike took care of them. But after a few months passed, Mike noticed that Robin's pregnancy wasn't progressing, and that's when she told him that she had actually lost the baby months prior and just didn't tell him. He was hurt by this discovery but still stayed by her side. It wasn't until their famous Barbara Walters interview came out that things really cracked for the couple and got really toxic. The interview was originally supposed to be an exclusive with Mike, but apparently before things got started, Robin had pulled Barbara to the side to tell her that she had some things that she wanted to say, and then proceeded to speak out about how Mike had allegedly been hurting her, saying that she was mistreated in the relationship. They divorced soon after, but people believe that the whole truth wasn't uncovered. Sources say that Robin was manipulating Mike and that things had been toxic because of her, but Mike just let it go. This was all over the place, so a lot of people just don't know what to think of it.
And at number 4, Leonardo DiCaprio and Camila Morrone. So if you watched the most recent Golden Globes, you saw Ricky Gervais savagely call out Leo for exclusively dating girls that are way too young for him. It's such a hot topic that someone actually made a graph calling out the fact that the ages of the girls that he dates stayed the same over the years, while he just keeps getting older. He is currently dating actress Camila Morrone, who is 24, while Leo is 46, a 23-year age gap. Recently, Camila spoke about their age gap after she noticed Leo being heavily criticized online, saying, quote, there's so many relationships in Hollywood and in the history of the world where people have large age gaps. I just think anyone should be able to date who they want to date. The couple was first linked together in January of 2018 during a trip to Aspen, Colorado. The pair are pretty private about the relationship and really don't share much with the public. Disick. But since it's now been months and the PDA has not slowed down, fans are just starting to get really annoyed. Recently, a video was leaked showing the pair at breakfast, with Courtney straddling Travis at the table. Many felt this was way overboard and was completely inappropriate to do in public. Some comments on that post read, quote, you can't tell me this is not a publicity stunt when they're acting like 13-year-olds. Another fan commented, quote, come on, some PDA is fine, but this is too much. You never know if children are around either. Let me know your thoughts on this one below. And at number 2, Alec Baldwin and Hilaria Baldwin. Alec and Hilaria have 26 years between them, but that hasn't changed much about their relationship. They first met in 2011 in New York when Hilaria was working as a yoga instructor. Their relationship moved quickly from there. Hilaria told Beach magazine in 2013, quote, 5 months into our relationship, we got an apartment together. Then we started talking about getting married, then he proposed, then we got married, now we have a kid. The couple has been together for 10 years and now have 6 children together. Hilaria is 37 and Alec is 62. And finally, number 1, Alexis Roderick and Billy Joel. Billy Joel recently married his 4th wife, Alexis Roderick, his biggest age gap relationship to date. At the time of the wedding, Joel was 66 and Roderick was 33. The couple welcomed daughter Della Rose in 2015 and a second daughter, Remy Ann, in 2017. Initially, the couple kept their relationship very quiet and made no mention of it on social media. However, a month later, it was confirmed that Joel had fallen for Alexis. She revealed that the two had been friends for years before getting together. When speaking about the relationship to Parade magazine in 2018, Joel said that in his other relationships, he was mostly concerned with working, and he was away from the house most of the time. But this time, he's working less, and he wants to concentrate more of his time on being a family man and spend time with his kids. And at number 10, Bob Saget and Kelly Rizzo. The Full House star got married to his bride in 2018. The pair have a 33-year age gap between them. Apparently, Saget proposed during an episode of Stranger Things. While watching the show, he decided to get up and grab the ring he had been hiding for 4 days. Rizzo answered the question of how the couple met on TikTok. Apparently, it all started when Saget DM'd her on Instagram. Apparently, Saget even contacted someone that knew her beforehand to get a better read on her. After that friend spoke highly of her, Saget decided to ask her on a date. Now the rest is history and they've been together ever since. And at number 9, Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger. When this couple first got together, no one was really even talking about their age gap because everyone was more concerned with the drama around them. Firstly was that Pratt was going to be marrying Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter, and that Pratt was going to be getting married after her shocking divorce from Anna Faris. At the time they married, Katherine was 31 and Pratt was 41. The couple got married in 2019 and welcomed their first child, daughter named Lila, in August of 2020. And Katherine might have actually manifested the relationship happening beforehand in 2018, because in an interview she was asked which Pratt was her favorite, and she replied, quote, Chris Pratt. He's been looking so good lately. Or maybe he just saw that and decided to hit her up. Who knows? And at number 8, William H. Macy and Felicity Huffman. This couple's even more interesting to me because I just started rewatching Desperate Housewives again, and I forgot how amazing amazing that show is. It's literally one of my all-time favorite shows. Lynette is also my favorite housewife on that show, if you're wondering. William and Felicity dated on and off for 15 years before they finally decided to get married in 1997. The pair have a 12-year age gap between them. The couple has been together ever since and now have 2 daughters together. The family was also the subject of controversy when it was revealed that Felicity Huffman paid someone to take the SATs for one of her daughters, and she ended up serving 14 days in jail for her role in that scandal.
At number 7, Tina and Ike Turner. Ike and Tina Turner were a powerhouse couple in the eyes of the media as well as the fans at first, but behind the scenes things were messy and toxic, and once that became publicly known, people started to really hate the relationship. Ike and Tina first met while Tina was still a teenager, and soon they hit it off and started performing together. Soon their duo catapulted them to stardom, bringing them a lot of success, but because they were so close, things got really toxic. They got married in 1962 and stayed together for the following decade, but Tina was living her life in pain. In her book, Tina wrote about how Ike was a toxic partner, saying, quote, "He threw hot coffee in my face, giving me third-degree burns. He used my nose as a punching bag so many times that I could taste blood running down my throat when I sang. He broke my jaw. I couldn't remember what it was like to not have a black eye." End quote. Things got so bad that Tina wanted to end her own life, but thankfully she survived her attempt and used her survival as fuel to get the strength to leave Ike and this toxic life behind. After this horrible relationship was exposed, fans started to rethink their support of this relationship completely.
6. Heidi Klum and Tom Cowlitz. This pair started dating in 2018, and Klum is 16 years his senior. Klum has spoken about the age gap and told In Style, quote, "My boyfriend is many years younger than me, and lots of people are questioning that and asking about it. That's really the only time when age seems to be shoved in my face and I have to give an answer for it. I don't really think much about it otherwise." The couple got married in 2019 in a small legal ceremony, then had the full-blown wedding in August of 2019. And Heidi has revealed that there's no doubt that Tom is the one for her, telling people, quote, "He is the kindest, sweetest, most caring, loving person. I feel so lucky. I don't know the last time I was this happy in my life. He is absolutely wonderful. Maybe it's because he is German and we understand each other in a different way, but so far so good." He's also apparently a phenomenal stepdad to her 4 children. Halfway at number 5, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. You guys already know we had to include this one because this might be the most cursed relationship ever that is sadly still playing out in the courts. When they split in 2016 after a brief marriage, Amber accused Johnny of getting physical with her on multiple occasions. But then in 2019, after denying the claims, Johnny alleged that Amber was the one that actually was physical with him. Then shortly after, explosive audio recordings leaked that showed Amber admitted to being physical with Johnny in the past. As of now, Johnny has been losing their legal battles. He even lost a libel suit against the Sun, but he is not giving up and he's committed to having the truth revealed in court. And at number 4, Sam and Aaron Taylor-Johnson. These two met on the set of the movie Nowhere Boy. Sam was the director of the movie while Aaron was starring in it. Aaron was only 18 when the pair first met on the set of the film, while Sam was 41. The couple has a 23-year age gap between them. In a 2019 interview with Harper's Bazaar, the couple said that they were professional on the set of the 2009 movie, adding, quote, "But everyone on set knew. As soon as we finished, he told me he was going to marry me. We had never even been on a date or even kissed." Aaron then said that exactly a year after they met, exactly to the minute, he proposed. They got married in 2012 and changed their last name to Taylor-Johnson. The couple now has 2 children together, daughters Wilda Ray and Romy Hero. And at number 3, Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. This couple is either beloved or hated depending on who you ask. When talking to those that despise the couple, it seems that they like each person very much, just not them together. Apparently their detractors think they go overboard with the PDA and shove it down everyone's throats for publicity. The pair also appears in commercials and sponsorships as a pair, flaunting their family at every turn. On top of that, they have a tendency to overshare things that the public probably just doesn't need to know about. One example of this was when Kristen told Jimmy Kimmel that Dax had a vasectomy. And at number 2, Dane Cook and Kelsey Taylor. This couple is a 26-year age difference. Dane Cook is 49 and his girlfriend Kelsey is 22. The couple is very public on social media and even participated in an online Q&A to answer their fans' burning questions. When one fan asked, quote, "What advice do you have to those in age gap relationships?" Cook replied, quote, "The only thing you have to do is plan that your deaths will be somewhat far apart." He also answered the question of how the couple met. Apparently Kelsey attended a party Cook had at his house and they developed a friendship afterwards, which later turned into a relationship. In February 2018, Dane actually commented on the relationship on an episode of Jimmy Kimmel. After he mentioned the pair's 26-year age gap, he noticed an audible reaction from the crowd. And then he said, quote, "Thank you for the snickers of approval." I'm sure that wasn't judgment at all. Definitely no judgment there. And finally, number 1, Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble. Following her split from her ex, Caitlyn Jenner, Kris moved on to Corey Gamble. This couple is a 25-year age gap. Kris is 65 and Corey is 40. The couple have been dating since roughly 2014, and he's been featured on their reality show Keeping Up on multiple occasions. Thankfully, Corey gets along with the family quite well. However, he's actually the exact same age as Kim. Not sure if that gets awkward at times. Corey and Kris met in August of 2014 at fashion designer Riccardo Tisi's 40th birthday party in Ibiza. The party was thrown by Kanye West, which makes everything just a little more fitting. If you're wondering what Corey does for work, he's a talent manager, and People magazine reported that he was working as Justin Bieber's tour manager when he first met Kris. Justin and Corey are close, and Corey often refers to him as his nephew.
And at number 10, Matt Bomer and Simon Halls. Matt Bomer rose to fame on the hit show White Collar in 2009. When he originally came into the limelight, he didn't open up about his sexuality. He later came out during a 2012 acceptance speech when he thanked his family. At that point, Bomer and Halls were already married. The couple opened up about their marriage later, admitting that they got privately married in 2011. The wedding was small and only included family and friends. The pair has a 13-year age gap, and when they got together, Bomer was 34 and Halls was 47. The couple, who are known to be very private, have welcomed 3 kids together via surrogacy: Kit Halls in 2005 and twin brothers Walker and Henry, born in 2009. And at number 9, Alicia Vikander and Michael Fassbender. Alicia and Michael started dating back in 2014 after meeting on the set of The Lights Between Oceans. The couple has 12 years between them. Alicia is 32 and Michael is 44. At first, the couple kept their relationship low-key and didn't tell anyone on the set. However, their wedding was exposed after the couple returned from their private wedding ceremony in Ibiza in 2014, 3 years after they started dating. When speaking about the secretive nature of their relationship, the couple said, quote, "I think we've made a clear statement that we keep certain things just between us. It was very easy to unite, but that's quite personal." Adding, quote, "I'm not going to talk about my private life with a total stranger unless I feel like I need to." And at number 8, Princess Charlene and Prince Albert. The royal couple met at a swimming competition in Monte Carlo in 2000. At the time, Princess Charlene was 22 and Prince Albert was 42. The pair dated for 10 years before deciding to tie the knot and getting engaged, then married in 2011. The couple is celebrating their 10-year wedding anniversary this month, but unfortunately they will not be celebrating it together. Princess Charlene contracted an illness while in South Africa and has been instructed not to travel. She told the press, quote, "This year will be the first time that I am not with my husband on our anniversary in July, which is difficult, and it saddens me. However, Albert and I had no choice but to follow the medical team's instructions, even though it's extremely difficult."
And at number 7, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. This couple, referred to as Bennifer, was huge back in the early 2000s. They started dating back in 2002 and were engaged months later. However, their romance did not last, and they ended up calling off their wedding only days before the ceremony. But following Jen's recent split from A-Rod, Bennifer is back on, and they are more in love than ever. Last week, a Hollywood insider told People that the duo is, quote, "madly in love," and are, quote, "the loves of each other's lives," with another adding that they are doing everything possible to make things work out this time. Although the couple has lots of fans, they also have a lot of enemies. Many people think that both of them moved on too quickly from their last relationships, and they're basically just rebounding with each other. Others even say they are doomed to the same fate as before. I guess time will tell with these two.
And at number 6, Hillary Burton and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. This couple started dating in 2009 after they were set up by Morgan's Supernatural co-star Jensen Ackles. It's actually a miracle that the couple was able to meet in the first place. Burton planned on living in Paris after her departure from One Tree Hill, but after she got cast on Supernatural, she stayed in town and met Morgan. In her memoir, The Rural Diaries, Burton revealed that their relationship moved quickly. They moved in together and were pregnant with their son, Gus, within a few months of meeting. Everyone was taken aback that they were moving so fast, but Burton told People, quote, "When he came along, he was so sure of himself. I was not a girl anyone pursued. I've always been alpha." And Jeffrey was like, "You're gonna be my girlfriend." The couple has a 16-year age gap between them, and they now have 2 children together.
Halfway, number 5, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. This on and off relationship was incredibly messy, and it kind of still is, even though they're not actually together anymore. They started out as teens in love, and it blossomed into a mature relationship. But during their off periods, they didn't hold back their dislike for the other. One time, Gomez ripped up a fan poster reading "Marry Justin Please" at one of her concerts. Also, Selena and Justin got into a public feud when Justin started posting photos of Sofia Richie on his Instagram, making it clear that him and Selena were not together anymore. Now that Justin has moved on to Haley, the public has started a love triangle between the three of them. It seems that no matter what more happens, Justin and Selena will always be linked together.
In at number 4, Rod Stewart and Penny Lancaster. This couple has had a lot of bumps in the road during their time together, and their 27-year age gap has not been the issue. The pair got married in 2007, and it was Stewart's third marriage. Recently, Lancaster appeared on the television program Loose Women, and she spoke about her marital issues in the beginning of their relationship. Early in the marriage, Penny found out that Stewart was having an affair. When speaking about that time, she said, quote, "There was a lot of pitfalls and bumps in the road, and how much can I handle of this?" But the couple was able to see it through. The couple has now been married for 14 years.
In at number 3, Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. This has to be one of the messiest celebrity relationships ever. Literally every aspect of it. Things were strange from the very beginning because there was a familial connection. Chyna and Tiegen had been married and even had a child together, but Tiegen left Chyna for Kylie Jenner, Rob's half-sister. Immediately, the Kardashians thought Chyna pursued Rob for the wrong reasons, but over time they got used to the relationship. When the couple got pregnant, the Kardashians were in full support, until the relationship started to become incredibly toxic and things turned ugly. Both Rob and Chyna posted private conversations and photos of one another to the internet. The pair are now in a legal battle. Chyna even sued the Kardashian family for allegedly kicking her off the show.
In at number 2, Rupert Murdoch and Jerry Hall. This couple has a 25-year age gap between them. Murdoch is 90 years old, while Hall is 64. Hall was previously with Mick Jagger and they share 4 children together. Murdoch has multiple previous marriages along with 6 children. The couple got married in 2016 and have been together since. The pair met only a few months before they actually decided to get married as well. It's believed that the couple met through Rupert's sister while they were both in Australia. And finally at number 1, Amber Tamblyn and David Cross. This couple has been married since 2012 and have a 19-year age gap between them. Their age gap was a potential issue in the beginning of their relationship. Cross admitted that he had feelings for Amber since the beginning and was thinking of asking her out after they did a comedy show together. But he admits he was hesitant because of the age gap, saying, quote, "I was slow to make any moves because of our age difference, and also because she was a fan." The pair got engaged in 2011 and got married the following year. They welcomed a child together in 2017.
And at number 10, Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. This relationship was hard to watch because we all knew that they were moving too fast and it was most likely a mistake, but the fans still supported it anyways. The pair met while Ariana was guest hosting on SNL, and instantly they were all over each other. The pair even got engaged a few short months later, leading many to scratch their heads. But only a few months after that, the pair revealed that they were going to be ending their engagement. Ariana told Vogue in the August 2019 issue that their whole relationship was highly unrealistic. She added, quote, "I met Pete and it was an amazing distraction. It was frivolous and fun and insane and highly unrealistic. And I loved him and I didn't know him." In at number 9, Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom. This one makes me so sad because Khloe and Lamar were my favorite couple until it was exposed that most of their relationship was a lie. These two got married only 3 weeks after meeting one another because they knew they were madly in love. They stayed together for a few years and they even had their own reality show called Khloe and Lamar. But years later, the couple suddenly divorced. It was exposed that Lamar had been cheating on Khloe almost constantly throughout their marriage with countless women. The couple divorced shortly after he was found unconscious in a brothel, and even though they were separating, the Kardashians were still there for him and helped him get back on his feet. Khloe spoke about the split, saying, quote, "I never wanted the divorce to begin with, but you know, I never want him to spiral out of control. But some people need to walk down a certain path in order to heal, so I'm just happy that he's healing." And at number 8, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. These two have been together for many years, with their relationship starting as a business relationship with Sharon managing Ozzy. But that doesn't mean the relationship has not been rocky. During their relationship, Sharon got the feeling Ozzy had been cheating on her, which he ended up confessing to. In 2018, Sharon revealed that she managed to get the truth out by Ozzy with sleeping pills. She said, quote, "I was a broken woman. He sent me an email that was meant for one of his women, then he took his sleeping pills. I put an extra 2 in his drink and asked him everything and everything came out." The couple briefly split in 2016 because of this cheating, however the two did eventually get back together and have been together ever since. In at number 7, Hugh Jackman and Deborra Lee-Furness. This happy couple has been together for more than 20 years, meeting on set in 1995. The two hit it off almost almost instantly and got married a year later in 1996, which actually happens to be my birth year. I mean, that's beside the point, but I just had to point that out. The couple have a 13-year age gap. Jackman is 52, while Lee-Furness is 65. They've adopted 2 kids together. Jackman told People that even though his wife is technically older, it really doesn't feel like it, saying, quote, "I'm literally the adult in the relationship. She's just like a little kid. I'm the one saying, babe, that's not a legal parking spot." And I just love her even more for that.
I knew pretty soon in, but it was also my first job. Deb was a leading lady, and I was fully aware this was a cliche, and I was probably being ridiculous.
My New Year's resolution was I'm not dating any actors, and definitely none under 30. Meet my husband.
In at number 6, Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. After only 4 years of marriage and a reality show that brought us into the lives of the couple, these two had a messy split, and Jessica ended up filing for divorce in 2005. And from what we saw on TV, everyone was pretty sure they were going to split while watching season 3 of their show. They even admitted on TV that they didn't know as much as they thought they did about each other before getting married. A producer on the show even explained the tension between them. Nick was blue collar and frugal, while Jessica was a big spender. During a 2015 interview on CNBC's Closing Bell, she revealed that her biggest financial mistake was marrying Nick because she had to pay him $12 million. Jessica said they were fine when they were filming, but when the camera crews left, it was very tense and awkward. Halfway number 5, Eddie Murphy and Paige Butcher. Eddie and Paige met in 2012 and started dating shortly after. The pair first met on the set of Big Mama's House 2 because Murphy was on set visiting his good friend Martin Lawrence. While there, he had an interaction with Paige and the two kept in touch. The pair have an 18-year age gap between them. The pair got engaged in 2018 and now have 2 children together, son Max and daughter Izzy. Murphy somewhat poked fun at the age gap when he shared that he had welcomed a grandchild around the same time as his second child with Butcher, saying in an interview, quote, "I have my first grandchild, so I think she's 5 months, a 5-year-old grandchild, and a 10-month-old son. Guess that makes me a heck of a fella. My son is my granddaughter's uncle." In at number 4, Janelle Evans and David Eason. After Janelle Evans had been unlucky in love with her 2 previous partners, many felt that David Eason was finally the man who would make it all right. The pair even got married and had a child together, but shortly after things began to unravel and it was revealed that there were a lot of problems going on in the marriage. It was discovered that Janelle had called 911 on David before, as well as revealed that he took the life of their family dog after it was aggressive with their child. After this all took place, the pair temporarily lost custody of their kids, and Janelle claimed she was going to be getting a divorce. But after things got sorted out, Janelle decided to stay with David and claimed that they would do their best to work it out.
And at number 3, Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer. Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer met on the set of True Blood back in 2008. At first, Paquin didn't feel a spark between them, but Moyer did. He told Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, quote, "By day 3 or 4, oh, this is gonna sound so syrupy, but I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. It was within seconds, really, and it just became a thing." Soon Paquin revealed that she felt the same way, and they started dating. The pair made sure to keep their relationship secret for the sake of the show, but word got out quickly. The pair got engaged well in Hawaii and got married in 2010. The pair are now raising twins together and co-producing Amazon Prime series Black together as well.
In at number 2, Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain. The relationship between this couple was incredibly volatile, not only because of their personalities clashing, but because substance use was involved. It seems that they both were a bad influence on each other, and their relationship made their substance abuse even worse. In 1992, Courtney told a story about one of their first weekends together. She said that they did a lot of and they even got high, then went to SNL while still intoxicated. When Courtney got pregnant with their daughter, they both vowed to get clean so she could grow up in a healthy environment. However, just 2 years after Kurt and Courtney got married, it was discovered that Kurt had taken his own life, although many fans speculate that Courtney was actually the person responsible for his death. And finally, at number 1, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Scott and Kourtney were together when the Kardashians started their reality show, but right off the bat it was clear that he was the black sheep of the family, and they all had their suspicions about Scott. Over the course of the show, we saw these two break up, make up, and get pregnant 3 times together. It was clear that infidelity was a part of the problem. Scott wanted to be out partying till the early morning, while Kourtney just wanted to stay home with the kids. Kourtney eventually called things off for good after Scott went on another party binge weeks after the birth of their 3rd child, and photos of him getting cozy with other women surfaced. Over the years, the pair have developed a close friendship and even sparked rumors that they were getting back together. But clearly things are still rocky, which we know by the messages that Scott sent to Eunice Benjima, shading Courtney and Travis Barker, which are super weird. And at number 9, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. This couple is incredibly controversial. A lot of people love the pair and think that they complement each other perfectly, but a lot more dislike them, especially Chrissy Teigen. Now that Chrissy has been officially cancelled off the internet and lost a lot of her followers as a result of her problematic behavior, fans are looking more critically at John. Many are wondering if John is similar to Chrissy behind the scenes and not as nice as he seems. I guess we'll have to wait and see for that one. Many people are also incredibly annoyed by the couple, specifically how they always try to seem so down to earth and relatable, when they actually live an incredibly lavish life that most people cannot relate at all to. And at number 8, Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin. These two were on and off for a few years until they decided to officially get back together, then quickly get married. Since they got back together, Jelena shippers have tried to tear this couple apart. Fans also look very critically at their marriage and poke holes in whatever possible. However, the couple does give a lot of content that fuels these splitting rumors. The most recent thing that's raised eyebrows is this video going viral that looks like Justin is screaming at Hailey in public. From the video, it looks clearly like he is very angry with her. However, people that were there claim that's actually not what happened, and he was just trying to tell her a story, and I really hope that is the truth, because if he was yelling at her in public, that's just incredibly disrespectful. And at number 7, Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Back in 1996, during the Duval Film Festival, friends introduced Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas to one another, and after that coincidental meeting, the two would later marry in 2000. The pair has a large age gap of 25 years. Even crazier though is that they actually share the same birthday of September 25th. Douglas is 76, while Zeta-Jones is 51, and the pair are still going strong after 20 years of marriage. Douglas and Zeta-Jones have 2 children together. Dylan was born 3 months after the two married in 2000, and another followed 3 years later. So even though the gap is large for this pair, they are very much in love. And at number 6, Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag. These two are one of the most hated reality TV couples ever because they betrayed their friend on TV. The worst part about this borderline evil couple is that they thought they were invincible, but quickly learned that that was not the case after the show ended. Because of their behavior on the show, they've been somewhat shunned from Hollywood, having to resort to D-level celebrity programming like "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here." But one thing that holds true is their love for each other, and I guess the rest of the world hating on them has really brought them together. The two have remained married despite being both completely broke due to their frivolous spending in an effort to stay in the tabloids.
Halfway number 5, Elliot Spencer and Stephen Fry. This couple met in 2014 after they were introduced by friends, and they say that laughter brought them together. Talking at the BAFTAs, Elliot Spencer insisted that he couldn't be happier with Stephen despite their 30-year age gap, saying, quote, "I don't care what people think. Stephen is the love of my life, the light of my life." The pair got married in 2014 and have been together ever since, adding, quote, "Humor is the key to everything. We laugh all the time. Humor is the binding thing in our life. I think that's what brought us together."
And at number 4, Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow. This couple, specifically Gwyneth, was called out for being one of the most pretentious of all time. One thing that got them in a lot of heat was their, quote, "conscious uncoupling." This was a new term that they invented to describe their divorce. They also named their daughter Apple, which got them even more heat in the press. Now that the couple is apart, many still express their dislike of Gwyneth because she has not toned down her pompous lifestyle. She's been mocked in the past for selling a candle that smells like her vajayjay, as well as an egg that's also supposed to go inside of a woman's private area for some reason. And at number 3, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and Jason Statham. This couple has 20 years between them, but they hardly ever notice. The couple first started dating in 2010, got engaged in 2016, and welcomed their first child, Jack Oscar, in June of 2017. There's a rumor that the couple met on the set of the Transformers movie in 2010, however that's actually not the case. Rosie confirmed on our Instagram that the pair actually met at a party in London in 2009, adding that it was, quote, "instant chemistry." The couple went public when they later went together to Coachella. After nearly 6 months of dating, they moved in together and started being seen out in public more. When asked about their age gap, Rosie said, quote, "It's never been an issue. Age is nothing but a number." The couple is now engaged and has been so for years, but are in no rush to get married. And at number 2, Cardi B and Offset. These two are another tumultuous couple that people love to hate, and we know way too much about their relationship because it seems that Cardi shares it online whenever she can. This couple had gotten engaged, then broke up, then got back together and had a child together. Then Cardi revealed that she was filing for divorce. But the pair got back together and even have a second child now on the way. Throughout their relationship, it's been revealed that Offset cheated a number of times. Apparently, the cheating was the cause for a lot of the breakups. And now that the couple is back together, many of Cardi's fans are not happy and think she should be with someone that treats her right. Cardi even deactivated her Twitter at one point because she was flooded with fans telling her to leave Offset. She responded in a long rant, saying in part, quote, "If I work things out, why are you going to Offset's Twitter to harass him, adding quote, "a bunch of 15-year-olds telling me how to live my life like a mother effing Ariana Grande or something," finishing off that she does whatever she wants to do and she's not at the mercy of her fan base. But obviously her fans just want the best for her. And finally, number 1, Anthony Weiner and Uma Abdian. This couple had a very rocky relationship because politician Anthony Weiner was doing too much gross and illegal stuff to even name in this video. The high-powered couple were doing great in their careers together, but everything changed in 2017 when Weiner was sentenced to 21 months in prison for sending images to a teenager. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his extracurricular activities. He accidentally tweeted out a photo of his crotch to all of his followers, along with sending nude images of himself to a handful of other women. At first, Uma stood by her husband, but in 2018, the two divorced. In a crazy twist of fate, Uma would go on to work for Hillary Clinton. The Clinton email scandal would later be exposed because of the ties that Clinton had to Weiner through her trusted advisor, Uma. And at number 10, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox. If you didn't already know, this couple met on the set of a movie called Midnight in the Switchgrass, as they co-starred in the film. And even though the film is responsible for their relationship, the couple hasn't been saying the greatest things about it. On the day of the movie premiere for the film, MGK tweeted out, quote, "If I don't talk or tweet about a movie I'm barely in, it's because it's trash emoji." Apparently Kelly has not posted about the movie at all ahead of its much anticipated release. Megan Fox also skipped out on the premiere. Her reps told People, quote, "Due to the recent California mask mandate and the rise of COVID cases, Megan Fox will no longer be attending the premiere tonight." However, I doubt both stars missing the premiere of the movie is a coincidence. And at number 9, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis shocked the world when they revealed that they don't bathe their kids unless they are visibly dirty. They revealed this on the Armchair Expert podcast, saying they only gave their kids baths as infants when they could, quote, "see dirt on them," adding, quote, "When I had children, I also didn't wash them every day. I wasn't that parent that bathed my newborns." Dak Shepard agreed, adding that people, quote, "should not be getting rid of their natural oil on their skin with a bar of soap every day." Kunis said the decision related to her poor upbringing, saying she didn't shower much as a kid. And at number 8, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Harry and Meghan are one of the most controversial couples ever, and their popularity is drastically different depending on where you ask. The couple were beloved in America and Britain until they decided to step back from their royal duties in 2020. Then they did their explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey, which completely tanked their approval ratings in Britain, with many Brits thinking the couple went too far and turned their backs on the royal family. According to a YouGov poll, 49% of Brits had a negative opinion of Harry, while only 43% had a positive view of him following the interview. Meghan was much worse. Only 29% of Brits liked her, while 69% did not. Many Brits also spoke out against the couple and condemned their decision to leave.
And at number 7, Harrison Ford and Calista Flockhart. This couple first met at the 2002 Golden Globe Awards and have been together ever since. At the time the couple met, Ford was 60 and Flockhart was 38. There's a 22-year age gap between them. After meeting, the pair dated for 7.5 years before Ford asked her to marry him in 2009. They got married later that year. The couple have now been married for over 10 years and adopted a son named Liam together.
And at number 6, Jason Oppenheim and Chriselle Staus. You may know Chriselle and Jason from the hit show Selling Sunset, where the co-workers' relationships were put to the test on screen. Well, it looks like the two are now dating, and the internet is going wild. While on the show, Chriselle got divorced from husband Justin Hartley, and it looks like she's found love again. What's even more interesting is that Jason did an interview with Page 6 and exclusively told the outlet that he most likely wouldn't date anyone who's a part of the show. However, that's clearly changed now. At the time, Jason said, quote, "I opened up another office in Newport Beach, so I'm stretched pretty thin right now. Dating is just not a priority for me right now." Is this a publicity stunt or the real deal? Guess we'll have to wait and see. Halfway at number 5, Florence Pugh and Zach Braff. Florence Pugh has been very vocal about her disdain for people that judge her for her age gap relationship with actor Zach Braff. Florence is 25 and Zach is 46. When asked about their gap, she said, quote, "I have the right to hang out and be with and go out with anyone I want to. I've always found this part of what people do really bizarre. I'm an actor because I like acting and I don't mind people watching watching my stuff, but people have no right to educate me on my private life. Continuing quote, I'm 24 and I can't choose who I love. There's a reason why I'm not with someone my age. It hasn't worked. So who are you trying to match me up with? Florence also addressed this topic after she received hate for wishing her boyfriend a happy birthday on her Instagram, saying that she was forced to turn off the comments after she got tons of hate. And at number 4, Kelly Clarkson and Brandon Blackstock. People are outraged following a new court decision that states that Kelly Clarkson will be forced to pay her ex-husband $200,000 a month in support. The decision is set to start April 1st, and the funds are $150,000 in spousal support, as well as an additional $45,000 in child support for their 2 kids. Not only that, but Kelly is also being forced to pay her husband's legal fees, which amount to $1.25 million. Apparently this is all fair because Kelly makes roughly $1.5 million in income per month, and the judge believes $200,000 is a fair share of her earnings. Following the divorce, her ex-husband Blackstock says he will be giving up his career as an entertainment manager and is pursuing a full-time career as a rancher on his Montana property. This order from the judge comes after Kelly requested that she be declared legally single among her ongoing divorce from Blackstock, and this decision has received a lot of backlash in the media. And at number 3, Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor. This gap is definitely the biggest on this list so far, with 32 years in between them. In 2015, rumors started to swirl that American Horror Story's Sarah Paulson was dating Holland Taylor. Paulson later confirmed their relationship in an interview with the New York Times in 2016, stating, quote, what I can say absolutely is that I am in love, and that person happens to be Holland Taylor. Paulson is 46 and Taylor is 78. The two first got together in 2015, but they had met 14 years earlier at a dinner party. At that time, Paulson was with her ex. However, she says that she remembered thinking Taylor was, quote, probably the most exquisitely beautiful woman she'd ever seen. And at number 2, Angelina Jolie and BillyBob Thornton. This couple got a lot of attention for their decision to wear necklaces containing the other's blood on a red carpet. Media outlets even claim the necklaces contain vials of their blood. But years later, Thornton says that the whole thing was blown out of proportion. He says it was just a simple idea that the pair pricked their fingers and smeared some blood in the necklaces so they would have it while they were away from each other, adding, quote, it was that easy. But by the time it came out in the press, it sounded like we were wearing a bucket of blood around our necks. Apparently Angelina thought it would be romantic and similar to how parents wear a locket with their baby's hair in it. Honestly, I still think this one is really strange though. And finally, number 1, Tommy Lee and Brittany Furlan. This couple is pretty wild, and they're known for making fans a little uncomfortable. This was the case recently when Brittany revealed that her and Tommy are being haunted by a ghost. Brittany shared this on her TikTok. In the video, she told her trash can to open up if a spirit was present. At first, nothing happened, but then the trash can opened to the shock of Tommy Lee. Brittany then explained that they are renting this place while their home is going through some renovations, and they recently learned that the man that lived there before them died of a heart attack in the house. After this, she started addressing the spirit as Tom, and the spirit was much more responsive. Tommy can be heard yelling, quote, what is happening, dude, before covering his eyes in disbelief.
At number 10, Eminem and Kim Mathers. When it comes to back and forth celebrity relationship drama, fans can get really tired of it after a while, so that could be the reason why people hated it when Eminem and Kim were together. Rapper Eminem, aka Marshall Mathers, has had a rocky relationship with his ex-wife Kim Scott, and it's sort of been that way since the very beginning. They first met in the late 80s when Marshall was 15 and Kim was 13, and they became pretty dependent of each other from the start. They lived together at his family home and later began a romantic relationship, moving in together and having a daughter. After years of being an on and off again couple, the two got married shortly before Marshall's first major tour. It was then that Kim saw Marshall and their relationship as imperfect, and she started to doubt whether she wanted this type of life for herself. Kim said that after the tour, Marshall got a big ego and he started treating her as someone not worthy of his love and presence because he was a big star. Kim also alleged that her husband had been cheating on her. The rapper's career had a very negative effect on their relationship, and so 2 years after tying the knot, they got divorced. They did get back together again briefly, but that ended again. This drama made a lot of fans' heads spin, so it's no wonder why people have negative things to say about these two. At number 9, Janet Jackson and James DeBarge. Now, I'm not sure if everyone hated this relationship, but there was certainly one person in particular who really did not approve. Janet Jackson experienced her first first taste of married life when she was only 18 years old when she married James DeBarge in 1984, but their marriage only lasted about a year. Before getting married, they were pretty good friends, and Janet had been friends with James since she was 13 years old. It seems as though they had been in love for a while, and so they took the first opportunity they had to get married. Though Janet's father Joe did not approve of the marriage, they went through with it anyway and were together for 15 months. After they split up, there had been a rumor swirling around that alleged that Janet and James had a child, but they gave it up for adoption in order to save their careers and public image after James brought all of this up in 2016. It's never been proven, but it still remains a wild theory. Janet eventually ended up getting their marriage annulled because of James' substance abuse as it began to take a toll on their relationship. I would imagine that Janet's dad also played a role in getting this marriage annulled since he was completely against it in the first place. Now before I carry on talking about why people hate these couples so much, why not leave us a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, maybe even smash that subscribe button to see more videos like this one.
And at number 7, Daryl Hannah and Neil Young. This union was revealed accidentally while Young was discussing voting at a conference and referred to Hannah as his wife. The couple started dating in 2014 and decided to get married 4 years later in 2018. There is a 15-year age gap between them. Young is 75 and Hannah is 60. Apparently the couple had 2 separate ceremonies to celebrate their union. One was on Neil Young's yacht and another was just in California. And at number 6, Mel Gibson and Oksana Grigorova. Mel Gibson is probably one of the most hated people in Hollywood, so it's no surprise that his relationship would be hated too. Mel was in a toxic relationship with his former partner Oksana Grigorova, and so many people hated it. The two had a very messy breakup in 2010, and at this time an audio recording came out that showed Mel yelling at Oksana and saying horrible things to her about her body because he was mad that she allegedly lied to him about getting breast implants. In the recording, Mel was heard saying things like how he hated the way that she looked, claiming that she looked provocative and inappropriate, and even saying that if she were to be taken advantage of, that it would be her fault for looking the way that she did. This was a nasty, swear word ridden rant that honestly no one deserves to hear. If this recording didn't paint enough of a toxic picture, then I don't know what would. This made people hate this relationship even more than before. Halfway at number 5, George Clooney and Amal Clooney. George and Amal are probably one of my all-time favorite couples, especially because Amal was able to make an honest man out of him and take him out of his bachelor phase. In 2014, the pair announced their engagement to the shock of many. At the time, Clooney was 52 and Amal was 35. The pair have a 17-year age gap between them. The couple officially tied the knot in September of 2014, just a year after they met, with a beautiful Venetian wedding. The pair now have 2 kids together, twins Ella and Alexander. When speaking about their age gap, Clooney said, quote, "Well, I liked her, but I didn't want to jump the shark on it. I couldn't tell if she liked me because I'm 17 years older than her, so she might have thought I was her grandpa." Yeah, I don't think there's anyone on earth who would consider George Clooney a grandpa, like, come on.
At number 4, Axl Rose and Erin Everly. The tumultuous relationship of Axl Rose and Erin Everly is one that was pretty hated after allegations started to come out about what went on behind the scenes. Axl and Erin met in the early days of Axl's career, and soon they became inseparable. Erin became one of the most important people in Axl's life, being the inspiration for the song Sweet Child of Mine, and things looked good on the outside. Despite being a good-looking match on the outside though, they had a tumultuous relationship. Even through all of that though, they still ended up getting married in a Las Vegas ceremony in 1990. According to Erin, Axl actually threatened to harm himself if she didn't marry him, so things were already off to a rocky start. The marriage was annulled in 1991, just 9 months after getting married, and in 94, Erin filed a civil lawsuit against Axl, where she alleged that she was hurt by her then husband. After that information came out, people started to hate the fact that this relationship was praised for so long.
And at number 3, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was married to Demi Moore from 1987 to 2000, but after their split, he found love again with Emma Hemming in 2008. They started dating and got married in 2009 when Willis was 54 and Hemming was 32. Their age difference was very scandalous at the time, along with how much Hemming looked like a younger version of Demi Moore. Moore actually attended their wedding. The Daily Mail said at the time that Hemming, quote, looks very much like Willis's first first wife Demi Moore, just 16 years younger, adding that Hemming was only a few years older than Demi Moore's husband at that time, Ashton Kutcher. There was also a considerable 16-year age gap between that pair.
At number 2, Chris Brown and Rihanna. One of the most toxic relationships out there was that between Chris Brown and Rihanna, and everyone grew to hate it. No one is quick to forget the incident that happened after the pre-Grammys party in 2009. On the night before the Grammy Awards, Chris and Rihanna got into a serious physical altercation which left Rihanna hospitalized from her injuries. Chris was labeled as a monster for what he did that night. A police investigation was conducted. As a result, he was sentenced to 5 years probation and 6 months community service. A lot of people believe that he should have been given a harsher sentence because of how severely he hurt his girlfriend, and he received a lot of hate. People use this as an example to show people that these relationships should not be so praised, and it caused a lot of people to rethink their support. And finally, at number 1, Saweetie and Quavo. No one really acknowledged it until recently, but singer Saweetie and Quavo had a toxic relationship. Shortly after announcing their breakup, footage was leaked which showed the former couple fighting in an elevator. The footage showed the two of them in a physical altercation, showing Saweetie trying to strike Quavo, a suitcase being thrown, Quavo falling on top of his girlfriend, and ending with Saweetie limping away. Though the footage was from a year ago, it gave people a very different perspective on how the relationship was at the time, and fans started to hate the relationship. Both Saweetie and Quavo have said that they've moved on from the incident, but some fans still haven't moved on from this because they don't want to ever see them try and rekindle that toxicity again.